Hello, guys. Today we have a special webinar with a great guy, Brad. Okay, I met Brad like 3 months ago. I closed a deal with him, a great deal. It's now on the market for sale. And I was really impressed from the system, from his employees, from him. Okay, and Brad is well known in Jacksonville. He has a TV commercial with his brother where they're advertising their business. They are doing wholesale and they are doing it remotely, meaning they don't live in Jacksonville, but they're running a very successful wholesale business in Jacksonville. And today, Brad will expose some of his systems, some of his methods in the way that he's act in order to run his business, in order to make it successful and profitable. So, Brad,
All
the
right.
stage is yours.
All right. Thank you, Michael, and thank you everyone who's on the webinar. This is exciting for me. So let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Everyone should be able to see that. Can you see
Yeah,
that?
we can see that. Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, yeah, thanks for letting me jump on. And I always I like I have a special place in my heart for Israel. So um, I've never been there, but someday I would love to go there. So this is exciting to be talking with you guys. So we're going to do about 2 million this year. That's gross in real estate investing. We mostly do novations and wholesales. We've fixed and flipped, we've held rentals, we've done kind of all of it, but in the past few years we've shifted to novations and wholesales. And the reason for that is just to shorten the cash conversion cycle and turn the money faster. So that's what I'll be talking about here, kind of what our system is now. So we've got two companies. Prime Buyers is our buying company in Jacksonville, and then RiverX AI. We'll talk a little bit about that in the end, but that's we help real estate investors get AI appointment setting into their business. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but that's also a big part of our success with real estate investing virtually. So I don't have a picture of my brother here, but I'm a twin and I'm the younger brother. I'm about 5 minutes younger. But him and I started our business back in 2015, and we live in Bakersfield, California. So that's about 100 miles north of Los Angeles. Very similar client to Israel. We have we come from a farming background. Pistachio trees, grapes, almonds. Used to be a lot of cotton around here, but not as much anymore. Alfalfa. So a lot of farming. My family farms. But we started real estate investing in Bakersfield, started buying houses in Bakersfield. And when you're in California, you're always trying to figure out how to get outside of California just because of tax laws and tenant laws, things like that. So we were always trying to figure out how do we buy houses outside of California and outside of our home market. And eventually we settled on Jacksonville. We really have no ties to Jacksonville at all, other than it's a good market. Let's start doing some marketing there. And we started doing that in 2018. So we've been there since 2018 virtually. And over time, we've built a team. We have people on the ground there. Still not that many, about actually only 3 people on the ground in Jacksonville. No office. We all work out of our homes. So it's still pretty virtual, but as you're in a market over time, you become a little bit more local as time goes on. And I actually feel like I know more people in Jacksonville on the real estate side than I do in Bakersfield for sure. So we spend about 60,000 a month in marketing. That's direct to seller marketing, and that's through TV ads and pay-per-click. And we get about a 3x return on ad spend, which 3x is does okay. We're always trying to push that higher. We'd like to try to push towards 3.5, 4x as we go into 2026. But that's really what that means is if you spend $1 in marketing, how much gross revenue do you get from that dollar? So 3x would be spend $1, you get $3 back. So you spend 100,000, you're getting 300,000 back in revenue. And so if you're running at 3x, then you're doing okay. Um, and actually our spend was a little bit lower than 60,000 earlier in the month. We've gotten up to about 60 in the past few months. So what does virtual really mean? For us, like I said, we live in Bakersfield. We operate in Jacksonville. We're a team of 9. So there's 3 virtual assistants who handle lead management, and then 2 local acquisition specialists who are paid commission only, and they range between 10 and 12%, depending on the size of the deal. And then one operations, kind of an operations TC girl who actually lives in Jacksonville. And then a marketing director. The marketing director kind of handles marketing as well as just overseeing lead management and the metrics on lead management. And she doesn't live in Jacksonville. She kind of bounces around. She's been in Bakersfield, Salt Lake, kind of bounced around. So that's what our team looks like. And then, of course, my brother and I, and that makes 9 of us. There we are. That was earlier this year. A couple of these people, this guy and that guy, are no longer working for us, but everyone else is here. And this is not the whole team. Kelly is from Jamaica. She's our head lead manager. She's actually a virtual assistant. But she just recently was able to get a visa and she's made a couple trips over. So we've gotten to meet her. She's been with us for about 6 years. She's awesome. Little bit of a Jamaican accent, but that actually goes really well in Florida. So there's a lot of Jamaicans in Florida. It works out perfectly. No one, it's not an issue at all. So I think the lesson there is virtual. I know a lot of you guys probably have hired virtual assistants or have thought about hiring virtual assistants for your business. They work really good, especially if you get them from the right country in the market that you're working in. So in Florida, Cubans, Hispanic, um, Jamaican, all that feels very normal and feels very natural and local to Jacksonville homeowners. Natalie's our marketing director, and then Luke was with us, and Ryan, they were both with us earlier this year. They're not with us anymore. There's myself, Colby. I think Michael, you met Colby, worked a lot with him. He handles both acquisitions and dispo. Really good guy, really one of the guys that really holds everything together. And then my brother. And then this is Amanda. She handles, TC, making sure deals get closed, working with the title companies, things like that. And then keeping in touch with the sellers as well when we have something under contract. In fact, Michael, that deal that we sold to you, that was started to get a little hairy at the end. We were having to really handle that seller because she was starting to get upset about some things. It was a difficult
Both
seller.
of them, the wife and her husband, were really difficult, but
Yeah.
eventually we were able to close it.
Yeah, so people like Amanda, make sure things go smooth when we're doing deals like that. Because I can't just drive to the house and talk to the seller. So you do need if you're doing volume, it's good to have some people on the ground. So this is our tech stack.
Wait a minute, but before that, you showed us a picture of your team. How do you pick the right team in order to build the system that you build? Because we're trying to find out what is the secret sauce in order to scale our business, in order to build a team. Let's say I'm working in Jacksonville and like I'm managing everything like in the highest in the highest capability that I can. What happens if I want to build the same system in Memphis, Tennessee? How do you pick the right people that are going to join our team, your team, my team, in order to make it work the same thing that I'm doing it in Jacksonville?
Yeah, that's probably the most difficult and most important part of building a business is picking the right team members. And we've done it wrong over the years a lot. We've run through people that didn't work out. I think the key is um, running your business on core values and hiring on core values and firing on core values. So it's a lot of it is like becoming a leader yourself, learning leadership skills, and then a part of leadership is knowing how to hire and how to here's what often goes wrong. You hire someone, they actually don't really they're not really working out, and you kind of know it in your gut, but you don't have the leadership ability to make the decision quick enough. And so one of the worst things is you have someone it's not really working out, and you just can't you just don't have the leadership ability to make that decision to get rid of them. As far as finding people, we actually use a company called Sharper Personnel, and I can give you the contact for them. But they run ads. They actually run ads and handle kind of the front end of people sending applications, and they do the initial interview. And they use something called Predictive Index. Predictive Index is a it's a personality profile program that is it's 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 actually used in court. You can actually use it in court. So it's not just another like personality test. It's good enough to where the court accepts it for certain things in hiring and firing decisions. So we know the profile we want for example an acquisitions person. We know what profile we want for an acquisition. Oftentimes it's something called a maverick, someone who is a little bit more aggressive. They want to they're maybe not as precise. They're not engineers, they're not precise, but they like to go out and make deals happen. You need a personality that fits the role that you're hiring for. So I think that's really important. Getting the right personality type, and so having hiring assessments in place so that when people apply, they have to take an assessment and make sure that that personality fits. And then beyond that, it's just doing several interviews, even over Zoom, doing several interviews and figuring out are they a culture fit? And here's a really good book. A really good book on that is uh, it's now I'm blanking on it. I'll find it and let you know. But um, yeah, I'll find it.
Yes. What type of character are you looking for? Like what type of like let's say I want to build the same system in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm working in Jacksonville, and I know how my system is built. Okay, I know exactly who is going to manage my contractors. I know how to find the deals. I know how to negotiate about deals. Let's say I want to duplicate my system to a different country or different city. Okay,
Mhm.
how can I do that and build the right system and build the right manpower or woman power in order to make me to do the same profit in another city like I'm doing it in Jacksonville? Because obviously you cannot control everything. You really need to rely about Colby. You need to rely about your virtual assistant. You need to rely about a bunch of people that the effort that everyone is bringing to the table, making the deals happen, making the revenue being bigger and bigger every year.
Yeah. Well, I think it starts with getting the right personality fit for the job. So like a lead manager is someone who's really good with people, almost like a customer service type person, not necessarily a salesperson, but someone who's great, loves to talk on the phone, loves to help sellers out. So through behavior assessment tests, we can at least narrow that down. So we're finding someone who fits the job, and then from there, it's one thing we've done with our acquisition specialists from we did this with Colby. We brought Colby on part time, and it was just kind of like, hey, just work with us part time. Don't quit your job yet. Just try us out, and we'll try you out and see how it goes. And there's no commitment. There's no pressure for me to get him deals right away. It's just like let's start working together on a part time basis and see how it goes. And actually, that worked really well with Colby. Eventually, we said, "Hey, come on over on our side. You understand our business. You understand what we're trying to do. We like you, and you like us." And it was a easy transition. My acquisition guys, that's how we're doing it now. Is I'm bringing them on. We have a couple guys right now that are training. They're just working weekends and after hours, taking some appointments, and we're just testing them out.
An answer because I'm doing the same thing with a new contractor that wants to take several jobs on the same time. Let's start with the drywall. Let's start with the doors. Let's start with installing laminates in 2 bedrooms. Let me see how good you are, and then we can go forward. Like you test them like step by step or project by project, and then if everything goes well and the communication is good, then everything sticks, and you can join them to the team, to the group.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a difficult thing, but if you can get hiring down and get a great team, that makes all the difference.
And the
So,
amount of money that you are putting in advertising is 60,000 just to find the right deals and just to find the right sellers. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's big overhead for sure.
Can you please break down first of all, hi, Brad, and thank you for hopping on this webinar.
Yeah.
Uh, Michael spoke a lot about you, and he prepared us very well that we will be learning a lot of valuable information in this session. So thank you again. One question that stood out for me as you were speaking, and when the marketing budget was mentioned, can you please break it down exactly? How do you how is this distributed in your
Yeah.
systems?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's really only two marketing channels for the most part. It's 40,000 for TV ads and 20,000 for Google pay-per-click. And really, I would like to get a third channel in there, probably direct mail next year. But right now, TV has been our best performer for sure. TV has they're expensive ads. I mean, it costs about $600 to $700 per lead, but we have a pretty high conversion rate on that. So, that runs above 3x, probably about 3.5x.
We'll see, and I see you several times a week.
Good. That's
So
good.
that works.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what is the second thing that you just mentioned? Clips, what is that?
Google pay-per-click. So it's yeah,
Pay
PPC.
per click. Okay. Pay
Yes.
per click. Okay.
Yeah. And those leads are cheaper, but not quite as they're still good quality, but not as good a quality as TV.
So TV
Yeah.
is your best method to advertise yourself and
Yeah.
add more customers to your wholesale.
Yeah. Yeah, it
But
is.
that was the first thing that you were using in wholesaling. I guess it didn't start with TV shows and then TV advertising.
No, we started with direct mail. I mean, 2015 we were doing direct mail, and then when we started in Jacksonville in 2018, we sent direct mail as well.
What is cold
So
calling?
we did cold calling and texting as well, especially when it was really hot, 3, 4 years ago. We were doing all that. Yeah. We don't do as much of that now. We try to do as much inbound as possible. And that it's not that outbound doesn't work. Outbound actually works really well, especially for someone who's got a smaller team and a smaller budget. It's an excellent strategy. What I like to do is for our lead managers just to have less leads, but high quality leads, and it just keeps our pipeline a little bit cleaner. Because if you have both outbound and inbound, your pipeline's just a little bit, it's harder to really track metrics because an inbound and an outbound lead or inbound, yeah, an inbound lead and outbound aren't really the same quality. So it's just a little bit harder to track metrics.
Just suggest to somebody that is about to start his wholesale business, like
Hmm.
try immediately with what? Cold calls,
Yeah,
direct
cold call.
mails.
Yep, cold call, texting. I mean, even pay per click. You could start with a small budget on pay per click. Pay per click starts to get you inbound leads, which are a little bit more motivated. And then I do AI appointment setting with that, especially if you're by yourself, and have AI set the appointments for you. Yeah.
Preferred method to negotiate. Let's say you spoke with somebody and he wants to sell his house. Obviously, he's distress. I don't know, loan, health issues, or whatever. What is your best method to negotiate with somebody to get him down to the number that you want? Because obviously there is a chain deal and somebody needs to purchase it, and the end buyer needs to stay with a little bit of equity in the end.
Right.
So how do you negotiate? How do you point up the right price that you want to close the deal on? Okay, and real estate is basically working with people.
Hmm.
What is behind your method of negotiation to get into people and convince them to go with your price or the price that you are aiming to?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that makes all the difference. Good negotiation and good sales. So the way we do it is when a lead comes in, our lead managers have a long conversation, and I actually have an audio clip. I'll play just a little bit of it, but just to kind of get the feel for the type of conversation they have with sellers. It's a long conversation. It's maybe 10 to 20 minutes, and it's really getting deep with the seller and understanding like, hey, what's making you want to sell? Like, why did you call us? And really trying to figure out the why behind their decision to sell their house to an investor. Because if we can understand that, we can, this can become a more of a conversation about solving their problem rather than price. Because we're not going to win on price, we're going to win on solving their problem. And if someone's going through a divorce, they're getting foreclosed on, they're losing their job, that's actually the problem. The problem isn't price. And of course, everyone has a number that they want to be at, but if we can understand the problem, then then we can solve that and get them down to our number. So lead managers have a very in-depth trust building conversation, and then they set the appointment for our acquisition specialists. And our acquisition specialists go out there and kind of do the same thing. They go pretty deep. Sometimes they'll be there for 2 hours, and eventually we start to talk about price. And what we do is just anchor really deep. I mean, we want to shock the seller. We want to shock them and kind of drop a bone shattering anchor and get them, we don't want them to, I mean, if they say yes, that's great, but that rarely happens. And so you anchor them deep and then figure out it just sort of resets the whole price conversation because we're always going to have to buy lower than where that seller thinks that they need to be at. So we got to anchor deep enough to get that price conversation lower. And then, it's just a back and forth. What we don't want to do is just cave and split the difference with them. There's a great book, um, Never Split the Difference, by an FBI hostage negotiator. Excellent book. That's kind of the mindset you want to go in with the seller is really really do great sales. Don't just go in there and be an order taker and say, well, I can go this high, so how about this number? No, negotiate tough, negotiate hard, and get a good deal so that we can give a great deal to Michael.
Great job, and the deal that we purchased was a great numbers and everything works, and we're about to sell it, I guess, any minute. And
Hmm.
okay, that's really interesting because you are solving problems, and it's an interesting way to take a look at the deal, like behind the scene.
Hmm.
And yeah, I guess eventually we are dealing with people, and people has issues, people has problem. Now, is somebody is visiting the house prior, or are you sending an inspector to see what the hell am I'm going to purchase? Like, just to understand numbers, and through these numbers tell them, hey, the house has defects A, B, C, D. It's something that we need to take care of in the future, so you have to take it into consideration.
So we do that at the appointment. So our acquisition guy, when he goes to the house, he's assessing the house. He's mostly talking to the seller. We really care mostly about what's going on with the seller themselves because that's how we can get to a number. But we're also looking at the house, trying to get an idea of like roughly what's this going to cost. We have numbers in our, kind of what we know what a cosmetic flip will cost. If it needs a roof, we add that. HVAC, we add that. So we have an idea of what it's going to cost. And then, we actually have a calculator in our CRM that gives a maximum allowable offer. Now, I tell my acquisition guys, don't focus on that maximum allowable. What you really want to try to figure out is the lowest acceptable offer that seller will take. Because if you're like, I know I can go as high as 150, your deals are just going to come in at around 150 every time. That's just how our brains work. But if you're like, I don't really care about the 150, Mr. Seller, how low can you go? Can you get to 80? Can you get to 70? Like, what's the lowest anchor I can drop without getting kicked out of the house? That's kind of a question we ask ourselves. How low can I drop? Say again?
The seller gives the numbers first.
Usually the seller, well, there's two sides to that.
Let me
There
speak
is there,
first.
sometimes they do, although the problem with that is we do like to anchor. So if the seller gives us an offer and it's a little too high, now he's kind of anchored us higher. So there's an advantage to us going first, which is the way we usually say it is, hey, we know a lot of investors, guys like Michael. I usually don't say your name, but we know a lot of investors in Jacksonville, and a lot of these guys they want to be at like 80,000 for a house like this, But is that just way too low? Is that never going to work? And they'll be like, oh man, that's super low. I didn't expect that. I was hoping 150. And so it's like, well, what's a number between 80 and 150 that you might be okay with? And that's a lot of times that we'll ask that. Another question we'll often ask is, what's a number that for sure you won't take? For sure is just way too low. And they'll say something like, you know what, I won't take anything. I won't take 100. 100's too low for me. What we figured out is often they'll take 100 or a little bit lower. So it kind of is a way to get them to bracket and get an idea because really, really sellers, and we're the same way. Our numbers change as we start to think about the problem we're trying to solve. So when I'm selling a house, there's been times when I've been like, I won't go below a certain number and I end up selling way less because I realize my problem's bigger than that number and I'm willing to do it. So um, that's another thing we do.
I
Question.
have a yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, as far as your maximum allowable offer, is there a specific threshold that below that threshold you're not willing to bring that deal? So let's say, what is the threshold below which, or like the threshold that you want to buy an asset below market value? Like, do you always aim to have like the least is like 30%, 40% below market value? So what is your maximum allowable offer based on?
Yeah, so it a little bit depends on the house and kind of the area it's in. But often we try to get to a price where we can wholesale it for between 70 and 75% of ARV minus repairs. So and then we've got to have some spread below that to if we're going to wholesale it. Yeah. That's a good question though.
Yeah, guys, if somebody has a question, he can join and jump to this conversation. If not, we're willing to hear more.
All right.
I have a question. I came a little late, so I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, how does it work with your team reimbursement? You said about you talked about lead managers and acquisition managers. Do they get like paid by their merit or by the
Yeah.
hour? I don't know. You know what I mean?
So lead managers are paid hourly. They're between $9 and $15 an hour. Kelly gets about 15. The others are about 9. Um, and then our acquisition guys are commission only between 10 and 12%. If we're above 40,000 on a profit on a deal, they're going to get 12% of that versus
Okay.
10.
Okay. So,
So yeah, we used to do a base, but I've found that I like commission only a lot better.
mhm.
So yeah.
Okay. Now, us as investors, so let's say I contact someone like you and me myself, I'm planning on working in Orlando, and I'm asking you, I'm looking for deals at 70% minus rental.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Is that feasible? I'm asking too much? You know what I mean? Because I know usually you aim for 60, 70 cents on a dollar, and the rentals are blurry, kind of, right?
Mhm.
So is it
Yeah, I mean it depends. It depends on the area. I think if we're in the north side of Jacksonville, 09, 54, 06, some of those areas, those are going to be more like 70%. Nicer areas, 70, 75, maybe a little higher. So not too many people are buying 80% minus repairs anymore. That was happening back in 21 or so. But, 75, 76, 77, somewhere in there, for nicer houses, that's happening. Yeah.
And you're working Jacksonville. You're not doing like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
it.
Just
Okay.
Jacksonville. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So it's a good time to buy. I mean, now it's a lot easier to buy than it was a few years ago.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cheap. Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah.
It's
All
a
right,
good
thank
time to
you.
buy.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, or we can keep going?
You can keep going.
All right. So this is our tech stack. Let's see. I'm gonna move this out of the way. So this is what we use to run our business. CRM is Salesforce, Left Main. Some of you may have heard of Left Main before. That's a build out of Salesforce for real estate investors. Excellent system. We've been on that since 2021. And then communication with our team is through Slack. Some investors use WhatsApp, Microsoft Teams. There's a few other ones out there, but Slack has been really good for us. Phone system, smartphone. So we use smartphone integrated with Left Main, and it has a dialer, so we can it's like up to 4-line dialer, so we can do follow-up calls through smartphone. So that's a really good system. Meetings, we've used both Google Meet and Zoom. Lately, it seems like we just end up using Google Meet just because it's simpler and it's already connected with, our Google Calendar. So our meetings are on there. And then for Dispo, we're using Constant Contact for sending out our deals through to our email list. And then Investor Base. Investor Base is an excellent program. It's it used to be everyone was on Investor Lift, and then and that wasn't working as well. Investor Base, very affordable, and a lot of the big investors are using it for Dispo. And then property research and lists. So if you have often when you're negotiating on a property, you need to know kind of who's the checking ownership, checking liens and mortgages and APN and all that, parcel numbers and transaction records and things like that. And so we have something called riverxleads.com, and it's actually a place where you can just do property research, run comps, things like that, and then also pull lists. So pull distress lists, pre-foreclosure, absentee owner, and filter it all down. It's even got a AI curated list that it uses AI to try to figure out who's the most likely to sell next to, at a discount or even retail sales. So that's an excellent program for property research and lists. And then AI appointment setting, that's also our company, RiverX AI. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But we use that on the front end, lead management, keeping our, follow-up so important. Follow-up is probably where a lot of leads go to die over time. So it's imperative that people now have AI appointment setting. Team culture, we
I
talked
have
a
a
little bit.
question.
Yeah.
How much does this tech stack or the package of all the systems, how much does it cost for the company?
Yeah, good question. I don't know if I've tallied it all up, but Salesforce is about, I think it's about $700 a month. Slack, I don't know what it is. It might be $100 a month or so. Smartphone is probably a couple hundred a month, maybe 200, 300 a month. Google Meet is free. Constant Contact, I think I pay yearly. I don't know what that is. I'm guessing 1,000. Investor Base is $200 a month. And then RiverX Leads, that's $100 a month. And then AI appointment setting, we're actually transitioning to our own setup, and that's going to run probably about $500 a month for that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Team culture. So integrity, relentless drive, ownership, and excellence. Those are our core values. We hire and fire on that. And so this is how we try to keep our team together and motivated. I think one of the big things we do every morning, do a 15-minute huddle. For me, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. But, for the team, it's 9 o'clock. We used to actually do it at 9 o'clock my time. It was noon in Florida. And I just felt like, they're already halfway through the day. It's not the right time. So we do it in the morning of where the market is and where things are happening. So, and that huddle is not real long. It's 15 minutes, but we always go through how many leads do we have? How many appointments have been set? How many contracts have been signed? How many, what's it looking like for Dispo right now? And what closings do we have? We just run through that. And then that's basically it. We just kind of keep everybody on track on what's going on. So we know, are we short on leads? Are we short on appointments? Are we short on closings? What do we feel like is going to close this week? And that's kind of the meeting that holds everything together. Probably the most important meeting of the week. I do one-on-one meetings with team members every 2 weeks. That's also probably a 15-minute meeting. And it's just kind of a chance for me to connect with that team member, see what's going on, see if there's anything that they need help with, even if it's personal things. Is there personal things going on? That I would love to do that once a week, but I feel like if I did it once a week, I'd probably be canceling meetings every once in a while just because it's meeting with, well, it'd be about 7 people a week. So I probably could do it, but we've been setting it for 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. We have a dispo meeting on Wednesday, kind of an inventory meeting that just goes over with our real estate agent and also with Colby, our dispo guy. Like, what do we have out there? Where are we at with our BC contracts, trying to get our stuff sold. And then sales training, Tuesdays and Thursday, we actually work with a sales training company that called Ramp Academy, and they're excellent. But we have our whole team on either the Tuesday or the Thursday call. Thursday is a little bit more for closers, and Tuesday is more for lead management. And then we have Dams in the River meeting on Monday, and that's where we kind of look overall, like what was the week last week? What were the dams in our river? And like our river being marketing, gross leads, appointment set, contract signed, deals closed, money in. So
I
that's the
have
river.
I have a question, please.
Yeah.
What is the meaning? What is the meaning of disposition?
Disposition. Yes. So it's selling our wholesale deals or selling our novation deals. So
Okay, thank you.
we get an AB, we call it an AB contract, which is the front side contract with the buyer. And now it's in our transaction, we're managing that transaction. Maybe we have a 30-day close and we're pushing it out to our investors to try to, lock it up as a BC contract, as an assignment contract, most likely. Yeah. Say again?
Can you tell us more about novation deals?
Yeah. So novations are something we started doing about 2 years ago. And really what it is, and it's probably best if I explain it as if you're a seller. So let's say I give you a low offer like I would as a wholesale offer, and you say no, it's not going to work. And we go back and forth, and you're just not able to come down to a number that works for us for wholesale. So, but you're able to come down some. You're able to come down, maybe we're $15,000 away from where I need to be. So what I'll say is, okay, so we do have another program we call a simple sale program. And the way we do it, I can actually pay a little bit more in price, but the way I do it is I would need a little bit more time, so maybe up to 90 days, and we would need access to the house. So those two things, time and access. And the first question is, are you open to providing that if I can give you a little bit more money on the house? And often a seller's like, yeah, I'm interested. What is this about? So we just say, okay, what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this house to the market and put it out on the market. We're going to find a third party buyer who will pay even more than what I'm able to offer you. So let's say I can come up to your price, whatever it is, 150, but I'm going to put it out on the market for 200. We're going to find a buyer who can pay 200. But here's the thing. I'm paying all the commissions. I'm paying all the closing costs. If there's repairs that come up, in closing that's required by the lender or the insurance company, we'll cover those. So you don't have to do anything. You just sit back, wait for closing, and then, at closing, you go in and sign and get your 150. Our fee is going to be the difference between the 150 and whatever we sell it for, minus all those costs. And hopefully we make something. So that's a novation. Yeah, and the idea there, the value to the seller is really what they want from us is convenience. They're willing to sell at a discount for convenience. It's just that the convenience of a wholesale deal is a little bit too low of price for them, so they're willing to take partial convenience for a little bit higher price.
The coin. What happens if you cannot sell it from
Yeah.
any reason? Like, and the
So,
seller will tell you, hey, you promised me 150. Where's my money?
yeah. So what we do, what we tell the seller going in is, um, you know, we're doing this together. It's not, none of this is a guarantee. I've got to be able to find a buyer at 200. If for some reason we realize the market's telling us it's cheaper than that, we may have to have another conversation about price. But I think 150 is a good faith offer. I feel good about it. So we're gonna go forward if you're okay with that. But we'll stay in close communication. If for some reason it doesn't seem to be working out, we'll have that conversation. I don't want to waste your time, and we'll figure it out from there. So that's how we approach it. Yeah.
Spread the news, meaning let me offer that to more people on Zillow and just make the market do it work and just find the right buyer. Because right now, from the cash buyers, I don't know nobody that will pay you 150 because when I'm trying to match the numbers, nothing is matching, meaning nobody will pay you this amount. So let me spread the news, let me put it on Zillow, and let me try to find somebody that may pay more, and all the risk is on you, basically.
Right, right. So exactly. I think the other thing it does is, so really we're going in, we're not taking risk because we're telling the seller, I'm not guaranteeing a sale here. I'm just trying to get you to your number. Now, if they say, well, hey, Brad, you need to guarantee the sale, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, then you got to come down to my number. Like my number is where I want to be. You're the one who says you want 150, right? So we think of it like that. Um, so the other thing we're able to do with novations is often we're able to we can get financed offers because we're going directly to the MLS. So we get financed offers, people that want to live in their house with their families, and because it's not a wholesale, it's actually we can sell those on the MLS with conventional FHA regular financing. It's kind of a way to wholesale on the MLS with regular financing. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be cash or hard money.
Don't sell equity like as a cash buyer, so they might offer more than a
Right,
traditional cash buyer that looking to flip or doing better.
right, right. Yeah. So yeah.
Do you ever lose your deposit, or you have an exit strategy in deals that are not being sold?
We have $100 deposit and it's really not required until closing. So it's kind of gimmicky, but um, we have paid deposits before because sometimes sellers will require a higher deposit. But what we tell sellers is like if I put a big deposit on every house I put under contract, we'd have so much money out that it like doesn't make sense for a business like us.
Exactly.
So we write in $100 deposit and we don't get hardly any pushback on that. I mean, none at all. So. Yeah, again, these sellers have a problem they're trying to solve, and they're looking for us to solve a problem. They're not as worried too much about the deposit.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's our marketing. We talked a little bit about this. We do have a prime buyer, primebuyersjacks.com is our website. We do get some SEO leads through that. Honestly, they're probably coming because people saw us on TV or something like that. So I don't really know. We don't pay anything for SEO, but we will get leads just organic through our website. Then we have Google PPC and TV ads, and then riverxleads.com. We've done a little bit of outbound with that, and so that's really our marketing structure right now. So this just explains a little bit, like I'll just kind of go through a little of what it looks like. A lead comes in, kind of what happens. So lead comes in, it hits our Slack channel, and it shows up as a new lead. We ask our lead managers to thumbs up just to kind of let us all know that they've got the lead. They're calling the person. And it's our way of, like, if we were in an office, a phone would ring and we'd know someone just picked it up. But when you're virtual, like how do we know as owners that our leads are being handled? And for us, it's like someone's going to thumbs up, and that's letting us know they're on the lead, they're calling them back. And also, of course, we can run reports to see how quickly they got to it, but I like to see it in real time. And then they update the lead in Salesforce, and then if an appointment is set, they put in a bunch of notes and tag the acquisition manager and let them know, hey, phone appointment is scheduled. Normally we do in-person appointments. Occasionally we do phone appointments if we need to, but phone appointment is scheduled October 31st at 2 p.m. They let us know what lead source it came from, and then initials. That's the lead manager that's Kevin, KC. I'll just real quickly, if you don't mind, I will just play a few minutes of the lead management call so you can kind of get a feel for the. Is that okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Whoops. Um, Here we go. Actually, I might just have to back out and jump in here. Here we go. Okay, let me know if you can't hear this. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Kelly with Prime Buyers. I'm calling because of your submission through our website in regards to your property at 4045 Dimsdale Road.
That's cleaner. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Is this your home?
Cool there. Yes, ma'am. Cool
Okay. Did I call at a bad time?
No, ma'am. I mean, I'm a little busy, but you're okay.
I mean, I can call you back later for sure if that would be better because I need about 10 minutes or so.
Yes, ma'am. No, you're fine.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure, are you wanting to sell this home?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So my job is just to ask a few questions, make sure we understand, what is it that you need and to determine if we're a fit to do business. And then once everything checks out at the end of our conversation, I'll then set up an appointment for one of my guys to come out there, take a look at the property, and then make you an offer on the spot that we can stand on.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So can you, Tucker Gumber, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Tucker. Can you tell me, what made you reach out to us?
Just 'cause I just young and just tired of responsibility and all that junk. Like just better like all the overhead. Like I'm going through bankruptcy and the house ain't on bankruptcy, but I pay like $4K a month in bills, and then I got property taxes I gotta pay every year, and then like yard maintenance and stuff, and then pleasing my neighbors, just a bunch of stuff that I'm just not ready for it. I'd rather just sell it and then let my money work for me without putting money into something. You know what I mean? Just put all my money into investments or whatever, or my 401K, and then in 10 years it'll be quite a bit more versus my house having to put $8,000 in 10 years into my house. That basically takes away the 16 grand that I'd make in the 5 or 10 years in my investments or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much why I want to get rid of it. I was young, dumb, made a bunch of bad decisions, and kind of just want to move forward.
Okay. I'm sorry to hear that. So how do you feel about everything? You just want to
Yeah, I
just
just
wanna
want
be-
to sell and just get rid of it. Yeah, I just want to.
Are you going to rent? What are you planning to
I'm
do?
my plan.
Okay. We don't have to go through the whole thing, but really what she's doing, she's kind of turning into a therapist and just, she hasn't even asked about the house itself. Um, she just, she's just really trying to understand what he's going through and how we can help him personally. And we'll get to the house. The house, often we tell the sellers the house is actually the easy part. How can we, he's going through bankruptcy, he's going through a lot. So what can we do to get an offer to him that solves his problem? And it's probably going to be low. It's going to have to be low, but at least it solves his problem and gets him the money he needs to move on. So, and a lot of times these people, they just need, they need an offer and they need an offer quick. And of course, money is always good, but
So the system is just getting the lead, speak with him, understand what is the problem, and then it goes forward to acquisition specialist.
right.
And then Colby, let's go to the site and try to assess the house. What is the problem? Permits, all kind of defaults on the house or liens. And with all of that, you're trying to manage a number that can work for him, for you, for the end buyer.
Right. And Colby's doing a lot of what Kelly just did. So Colby is also wanting to hear exactly what's going on with this guy. But he's also looking at the house, figuring out a number. And then he's the one, Kelly doesn't talk numbers at all, but Colby will start talking numbers and try to get an offer, try to get something signed on the spot.
Percent from ARV minus repairs, and this is the number that you're going to give forward to the end buyers. But obviously, you need to leave some types of gap between how much the end buyer will buy and the amount of money that you need to have to your company.
Yeah, so we're going ARV minus repairs, or a percentage of ARV minus repairs minus our fee, and then we're starting lower than that because we want to be able to anchor low and come to a deal. Yeah.
You are trying to do like a 20 grand, 25 grand a deal. Like there is a number that makes sense for you. Like you told me like, hey, I'm spending 60K in a month in advertising. So I'm aiming for 180. So let's say it's 10 deals. So I'm trying to be around 18K a month, just a deal just to coordinate or match the amount of money that I'm spending on advertising to the amount of money that I'm having as a revenue or as a profit.
Yeah. So our minimum we try to hit is 25.
25
And then
minimum.
we love to get higher than that though. So yeah.
My last deal was 85, and after we finish, I will tell you who was it.
All right.
85 grand in one deal. Congrats.
Wow.
Salutes. No
That's
problem.
good. Yeah.
The numbers worked for me. He never told me, but when I was reviewing the Alta 85, okay, congrats.
Yep.
You got me in this one, but I don't care about that. As long as the numbers works for me, I don't care how much the wholesaler did.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. All right. So in person, they can get up to 3 appointments per day per rep. We shoot for a 20% close rate of appointments that are held. So there's a certain percentage, 10% maybe, that we just get ghosted on, and then we got to try to get them back on the schedule. So of the held appointments, we shoot for a 20% close ratio. We have a very structured sales approach, like we've been talking about. Compensation is between 10 and 12%. They get a gas card. They're usually 1099 employees, not or 1099 independent contractors. We have had them as employees before as well, but that's usually how it is. And then they do weekly sales training and role play every week. Transaction management. This is where, sending out wholesales. Once you have a deal, now you're trying to sell it. So emailing the list, posting it on Facebook groups, calling the investor base list. We try to do group showings as much as possible. And then novations, we're sending it to the listing agent. and we'll spend up to $5,000 or so in repairs needed by the lender or insurance company. We've spent more than that. That gets risky because if a deal falls through, it's hard to get that money back, So there's a little bit of risk there, but at least because on a novation it's not a double close. It's actually one closing, but we have kind of a deal with the seller where they get a net number, and then we'll still we'll spend a little bit of money to get it sold, but it's one closing. And then we give a team bonus if we hit 250,000 in the month. We've done that. We should be able to do that in November. That'll be our third month we've done that, so it's a little bit short of what we were hoping this year. But yeah, we do a team bonus. So they're always super interested in how much revenue we brought in this month and how much is projected. That's actually been very good for us. Is used to be no one really cared that much. They're just doing their job. And then you throw a team bonus at them and all of a sudden they get really interested in how much revenue is coming in. So, and then we do a weekly inventory meeting. So there's our $2 million river, 60,000 a month in marketing. It's generated 1,300 leads, 630 appointments, generates 70 closings. More contracts than that, but not all contracts end up working out. But about 70 closings this year, and right around 2 million.
We have like 10% from the appointments are closing. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brad,
Yeah, Uday,
go
come on.
ahead.
Go ahead, Uday.
Brad, I have a technical question or more of like a practical one. Do you think that there's a linear relationship between all these items and the output of how much money you make, or is once after a certain point of spending that much, you start getting more and more and more closings? Let's say like if I want to start this business model right now and implement it, and I don't have 60K to spend each month on marketing. And like if I execute everything, assuming that I will execute everything by the book and I will follow the what needs to be done and all that, and assuming everything, holding everything equal, do you think there's a linear relationship, or you just have to spend a lot to make something?
There is a linear relationship for sure. You don't have to spend 60K to make, you don't have to, it's not like you have to get to a certain threshold in order to start making money. I think one thing to think about though is like you do have to cover your overhead. So whatever, we've run into this in the past where our overhead was a certain amount, but we're afraid to spend too much money. And the truth is you got to spend enough money to cover your overhead and make money. So you're actually dangerous if you're not spending enough when your overhead is a certain number. But as far as like the relationship between these, there is a linear relationship. However, the lower amount that you spend, the more volatile those numbers will be. So as you start going up in spend, things start to get more predictable. If you're only spending $1,000, yeah, I mean, over a year, maybe it sort of kind of looks like this, but it's going to be pretty volatile. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And in reality, the relationship or the percentage between appointments and closings are probably the percentage that I like the least. We should be getting more closings on those appointments. We should be 80, more than 80, maybe closer to 90 closings on 630 appointments. So that's on a little bit on the low side. Yeah.
My question is, how did you improve the system? How did you manage to find a better leads or more motivated sellers? Like, I guess along the way you did some mistakes, and some people just wasted your time, and you said, "Oh my God, like I wasted so much money, and people don't want to sell." What key factors did you use in order to improve your system, in order to find a better sellers, more motivated, somebody that really come to the table and just sign the papers?
Yeah, Inbound leads are make a big difference. So
People that
TV,
are
that's like,
leaving you info and tell, hey, call us back.
yes. So a TV lead, our TV commercial says, hey, we buy ugly houses. Are you going through these things? And when people call us, they're calling us because they want to work with us, as opposed to cold calling. People are like, yeah, sure, give me an offer. So there's a big difference between those types of leads. Cold calling still works. It's great. You don't have to spend nearly the money, but you just have to do more effort to get to those deals. So yeah, it's inbound leads is direct mail is a good example of that. Direct mail is a good lead source. TV is a good lead source. PPC for a lot of people is a good lead source. It does okay for us, but those are all those SEO leads coming through your website. Those are good lead sources as well.
And Yarin is one of my students and is trying to do the same thing that you are doing. He's trying to build a wholesale system in another city, different where he lives right now. Yarin, do you have any questions to Brad? Because he asked me about this webinar for so long.
Yes, first of all, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Okay, cool. First of all, thank you for sharing with us all that information and for your time. And I have a question. What do you think about the AI agent? I tried with my friend AI conversation, and I asked actually you can teach him what to ask the seller just to make sure he's really motivated to sell. What do you think about it? It's something that you think it's gonna be like the next step in the business?
Yeah, it for sure is, and I'm gonna in the next few slides we'll talk a little bit about that. That's one of the things that has really helped us this year, or even really we've been using AI appointment setting for the past year and a half, almost 2 years now. But there is a fine line as to when you want AI to stop and when you want a human being to take over. And I think we want AI to set the appointment, but not build rapport and not try to go deep with the seller. We want humans to do that because, and I think that's where, some AI companies are trying to get their AI agents to like qualify the lead and all that. And you can do a little bit of that, but I feel like the qualification conversation is a great opportunity to build rapport with that seller. So I'd rather our team do that rather than AI. But it definitely is changing the game in terms of the conversion between leads and appointments. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Stuff. Yeah, basic stuff. And when it goes deeper, you prefer that somebody that has
Yeah.
brain
Yeah.
will do the rest.
And not only that, but no matter how good AI gets, AI will never be able to build real trust with a seller because ultimately it's a machine and machines don't have the ability to build trust, right? So even if the seller was faked out, we'd be running a kind of inauthentic business because we're trying to convince a seller that we care about their problem and it's really just a machine that's doing that. So that's a little bit more of a philosophical reason, but I do like the human being stepping in and taking over that conversation when it's time to start building trust. Yeah.
Nothing can replace it, or
Yeah.
nothing that we know of.
Right.
Okay. Guys, any more questions? Because Brad built a great system that all of us can just take a look and maybe try to do the same things in order to improve our systems. It doesn't matter if it is wholesale, it can be fix and flip, it can be burr. And we understand right now exactly how wholesale is thinking and how we structure a deal, so we can understand better how to negotiate with wholesalers, because the negotiation continues with the end buyer, because obviously end buyers does like to negotiate, right? They never say, okay, it's a great deal. Let's go to the title, let's wire the EMD and let's go forward. So it was really interesting to see things behind the scenes. because in most cases I'm just getting the email, the text messages, the calls sometimes. Hey, Mike, I got a deal. What do you say? Go take a look. And it's interesting for me to see behind the scenes how you structure everything, and obviously build a system and build the right deals for the end buyers that eventually needs to buy this deal that you are structuring.
Yeah.
So that was interesting for me. And Yarin, I hope you took something from that, because he's trying to do the same thing, and he found some difficulties in building it in a different city that he's not living at. So Brad is doing the same thing. And when was the last time that you visited Jacksonville?
We were there I think in May. So
Oh, okay.
I don't go there to look at deals. I don't go there to look at I only go there to be with the team. So I should go there more often, but you know what? I don't need to be there as far as the business itself and running the business. We're not doing rehabs right now. So if we were doing rehabs, that might be a little bit different, but we're just doing wholesales innovation. So yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The opportunities that you can do, like even without being present in your city, and deal and still doing money and run business and sell deals. That is amazing, because most people like to be like with their hands on their business and control everything. And sometimes they need to understand that you cannot control the whole system, and you cannot control the whole chain chain reactions that we have in a deal. And sometimes you have to give the opportunity to other co-workers to do the work. And you, as long as you have the right system, and you are going to tell them how to make it right in order to get to the final bottom line, just to make money out, out of the whole system.
Yep. Yep. I just have a couple more slides. Here's a maybe just a takeaway. If you could focus on, you know, a couple things to take from this, you know, from this presentation, if you wanted to start doing wholesaling in another city or even in your own city, you need great leads, great appointment setting, and great follow-up. That front end of that funnel seems to be so important. I think the thing that goes without being said is a great closer, whether that's you or hiring someone who can do that. But the front of that funnel, great leads, great appointment setting, and follow-up is so important, because if you start losing leads up there, it's really hard to have money at the end.
Give
So
up. Like the follow-up continues until when? When do you give up? When you say, hey, I cannot make nothing with this deal lead.
when a house sells, or when, you know, if a seller just tells us they don't want to sell anymore, even then we're reluctant to not follow up anymore. But we've gone back and pulled a list of people that have, you know, set appointments over the past 3 years and just called them again to see what's going on.
Wow.
So yeah. And then with that in mind, there's a couple things I could just mention. RiverX AI appointment setting. This is what we use in our lead management. So for both the lead side and opportunities for us are appointments that have been set. So any appointments that have been set that weren't turned into contracts, we have AI work those as follow-ups and try it. Really what it's trying to do is just set the appointment again, re-engage the seller. And so it does all that heavy lifting that you often hire follow-up specialists to do, just to get those people back on a phone call. So, you know, great thing about AI is it's working 24/7. It can, whenever someone responds, it's responding within seconds, setting appointments. And so that's something we use. And then the other thing is RiverX
Does
leads.
that cost money? The River Excel cost money? Something that you need to pay for?
Yeah, it does. And I'll have we're actually transitioning right now. So we're transitioning into a system that we're building out based on the past couple of years of working with some investors, and even in our own business, figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So we're building it out. We're going to have something available in about 30 days, and then a full version in January. So we're putting people on wait lists right now. So there'll be a link here if anybody wants to join that wait list. to get on, get in line for the appointment setting. And then RiverX Leads, if you don't have a program that is able to analyze properties, pull comps, look up, property information, pull lists, RiverX Leads is a great one for that. So it's riverxleads.com. It gets you all this kind of information. One of the things that I like about it is this thing called sellability scores. So this uses AI to score a property on how likely it is to sell at a discount in the next, 90 to 120 or 180 days. So this one, for example, I don't know which one I pulled here, but 437, so it's below 500, so it's unlikely to sell at a discount in the next 90 to 100 days, but it's likely to sell to a landlord and it's likely to sell on the market in that amount of time. And it's using AI, it's using everything from county records, public records, to even magazine subscriptions going back like 40 years to, when the last sale was, all those kinds of things to create a score with AI. So you can actually select a zip code, pull all the properties that are, at a high score, and then just market directly to them. So what's that?
How accurate is that?
Sorry, you cut out.
How accurate this one, the score, how accurate is that?
Oh, how accurate. So it's so we work with a data provider that actually did all the, created all this. And from what I understand, it's predicting 1 in 5 sales. So it's a curated list. Yeah. It's predicting, you have a 1 in 5 chance of it being accurate, I guess.
I have a question. So I'm working with the XLeads, you probably know that, and it looks
Okay.
almost the same.
Okay. Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of looking here, I see the same interface.
Yeah.
Is it the same?
I believe XLeads might be working with the same company. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see.
So what we're going to do is pair this with appointment setting, and then you've got the ability to download appointment setting and put it into or download a list and put it straight into appointment setting. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
All right. So there you go. If anybody's interested in those, there's a wait list. Yeah, we're going to be doing a free trial as we like that. The AI appointment setting beta is going to come out Black Friday. So anybody wants to jump on that, we're going to give like probably 30 or 45 days free trial. Just test it out, give us feedback, tell us what you think. And then eventually, probably in January, it'll go to a paid version if you want to keep going with it. So there's no reason not to jump on that because that's just like, hey, learn about AI appointment setting if nothing else. And then RiverX Leads, if you need a platform for that, jump on there. And that's pretty much all I've got.
Yeah, that was a lot. It was really interesting. And thank you for all the information. Guys, somebody has more questions to Brad, like regarding wholesale, real estate, how to scale a business, something. Okay, what do you think about the market of Jacksonville? Like where it goes?
Yeah. So I like Jacksonville. I like Jacksonville as a market. I think the good thing about Jacksonville is we've already gone through it's been a tough market for the past 2 years. And there's markets up in like the Northeast and the Midwest that have been actually pretty good over the past 2 years, and now they're starting to feel the downturn. So I think they've got more hurt ahead of them than we do. We've already been through the hurt, and I think we're going to start, coming out of it. So some of this is going to be is based on interest rates coming down, but also it's just market cycle. Like eventually people in Jacksonville are going to just get back to buying houses again. And I think that's going to be sooner rather than later compared to some of those other markets that have done pretty well over the past few years. Yeah.
Choose Jacksonville from the first place.
Back in 2018, it was like the Southeast is where you wanted to be. And so we said, hey, sounds good. Actually, I had a cousin who wanted to work with us as an acquisition guy. And so I remember we were looking at like Charleston, South Carolina, and Jacksonville. And I figured Jacksonville's a bigger market in case it didn't work out. He could find another job. So it was a partly that, but yeah, it's been good. It was a good market. I'm glad we chose it.
I'm so glad, and I really like Jacksonville. I'm here for the last 11 years. It's the market in here is there is always something to do. There is always deals that you can inspect, and
Yeah,
Jacksonville made me who I am, and I think I'm going to be here for the long run.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
will be happy to work more with you. Colby is great. You're great, and just keep giving us the great deals, and
Will do.
let us make
Yeah,
uh, let us make money together.
sounds good. Well,
Yeah,
appreciate talking
yeah,
to you, spending some time with all of you.
yeah. Obviously, guys, somebody has more questions for Brad because before we are locking this broadcast.
Yeah, I do.
Uh,
I have two things that I wanted to ask you. Again, I came late. Maybe you talked about it already. About paper lead and call center cold calling. You know, like these I don't know, $6 an hour things and all that.
Mhm.
Do you work with that, or there's a reason you don't?
Are you talking about the cold calling?
Both. So paper leads, right?
Oh, paper leads. Yes.
Yeah, and cold calling centers.
We've done paper leads over the years. I think we stopped back in probably February or somewhere in there last year or this year. We just noticed the quality wasn't as good. It just started to go down. And I think across the board, it seems like quality has gone down. Although it's still not a bad strategy for if you got a low budget, just to work leads. You're paying a certain amount per lead, which is nice. You just don't exactly know where those leads are coming from. Sometimes I don't know if those are cold call leads. They call them inbound, but are they really from an outbound source? And then they're pushed
Yeah.
inbound. Um, yeah. And then as far as cold calling goes, we haven't done cold calling for several years. We used to do it in-house, and it also works. You just have to work through more leads. So a lead is less qualified. So it just means you're doing more to get a deal. You're making more calls. Yeah. But all those strategies work for sure. Yeah.
We would call it more
but the
dirty.
inbound is the best.
I think inbound's the best. Yeah. It's more consistent. It's just more expensive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because they are doing the first move, and obviously, if they reach out to you, there is
Hmm.
something behind it, like somebody that's really motivated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. And
One last question.
Roberto flattered you and says, I got to go. Too late. Excellent presentation. Thank you very much for sharing. I learned a lot. By the way, I also recommend the book, Never Split the Difference. Thanks again.
Great
Okay,
book.
now you make me interested, and I'm going to find this book on Amazon right now.
You're going to be harder to negotiate with, Michael.
Fine. Fine. So I will never share the split with you again.
There you go. I think there was a question.
Yeah,
Yes,
Uday.
yes, I had a question regarding social media marketing. Do
Hmm.
you use Facebook marketing, Facebook ads, or just these two things that you mentioned in
Uh,
Google and TV?
so we have tried Facebook ads in the past. We actually tried uh, Ryan Pineda, which Lead Kitchen. It didn't work real well for us. That was about a year ago. We've Facebook ads traditionally don't really work for our business for some reason. And that's across the board. You know, I hear that a lot from other investors as well. I'm not sure why, but yeah, we haven't really cracked the code on Facebook marketing yet. I think doing just organic social media is not a bad idea. We're not very good at social media. We've never really leaned hard into that. That probably would be a smart thing for us to do, but we just haven't. Yeah. At least on the prime buyer side. We have on the RiverX side, but not as much on the prime buyer side. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. If somebody wants to share, open his mic and just ask something. Thank you for everyone that joined to this to this webinar. It was really interesting. It's going to be a recording in our course, okay? You can go back, listen, and learn some new things and tricks. And a new book that I never heard before. Never split the difference.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you, Brad. It was really interesting. I hope we are going to work more together in the future. Colby is great. Your whole system is great. And hope to talk to you soon. And thank you for your time and sharing us
All
all
right.
this information.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.